Hello and welcome to Surveyor Says, the podcast from the National Society of Professional Surveyors. Each week, we bring you fascinating guests that are involved in the profession of surveying. My name is Tim Birch, and I'm the Executive Director for the National Society of Professional Surveyors and your host for the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast on most of your favorite streaming platforms, as well as our podcast host, Podbean. For more information about the podcast and NSPS, please visit our website, nsps.us.com. So, without further delay, here's our next episode of Surveyor Says, the NSPS podcast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Surveyor Says. This is your host, Tim Birch, and we are in Denver, Colorado. We have wrapped up GeoWeek and then also an officer transition and strategic planning meeting. That's a whole nother story for another day, but I'm sitting here with a few of the officers of NSPS. This was our first time of coming to GeoWeek and exhibiting as NSPS, and we just want to give you a taste of what we experienced as an association coming to what I think is turning into a fantastic conference, exhibition, classes and such. And we had a good time here and really met a lot of great people. So I'm going to go around the table and we'll introduce ourselves, and then we'll come back to the start and tell us what you encountered while you were here.
Thanks, Tim. Linda Foster, current president of NSPS. What an amazing GeoWeek it was this year for us, NSPS. We were there last year to check things out and really see what it was all about, and met a lot of wonderful people, and thought, this is a place for us to be as a national voice of land surveying in our country. So this year, our presence was larger. We participated in sessions, and we also had a booth and kicked off our membership drive for the state affiliates as well. Met so many people who had great questions about how to get into land surveying, how they could get in contact with their state surveying societies, how to become licensed. Just had many wonderful interactions, met a lot of young people that are excited about a profession or a career in surveying. And so overall, I would say it was a great success for NSPS.
Well, I'm going to put you on the spot because something else you mentioned was some of the sessions you participated in, and really the overarching theme that was going on here with our good partners at NGS and such. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you were able to participate in.
Yes, so great point. One of the sessions, or we had multiple sessions at GeoWeek, centered around the upcoming National Spatial Reference System modernization. And so National Geodetic Survey was here with many of their leadership and also technical team that's rolling out the modernization. And so attendees had a great opportunity to ask questions, to interact with those individuals. And also we participated in a professional society session where not only our organization, but other sister geospatial organizations, professional societies came together to really discuss how we're preparing for modernization, how we're helping our members prepare, and how we're helping support NGS in this rollout. So it was a great session. There were also sessions that included vendors and others that are involved, tightly coupled with the rollout of the modernization. And so it was a great opportunity to elevate what's coming for the geospatial community as far as the data modernization.
Yeah, because this is definitely a good conference for that type of discussion because of all of the technology, because of everything that's really geospatial, georeferenced. That's a great point. All right, next up is Tim Murphy. Give us a little taste, Tim.
Hi, hey, good afternoon. It's Tim Murphy. I'm the president-elect for National Society of Professional Surveyors. This was my first GeoWeek, and what an eye-opener. First of all, it's like being a kid in a candy shop. The toys they've got, the drones, the remote sensing, the LiDAR units, anything and everything. It was really amazing just from that standpoint alone. But our presence as speaking for the surveyors across the nation. I mean, our goals and missions. I was surprised how many people came and talked to us and just were curious as to why we're there, what we're doing. I talked to several individuals that were in other geospatial careers that wanted to find out how to become a surveyor. Something I just didn't expect. Linda, you spoke very well about the NSRS modernization. Linda put together a storybook that's linked on our website that you can easily find. And we had little postcards for that. A lot of people were interested in that. And we talked about that without going into depth. And it was a great conversation starter, because this is where surveyors really need to shine and show their expertise to the rest of the world. Side note, I was having breakfast in a hotel one morning, and I heard a salesman doing a pitch to some people, and they were talking about control and survey, and they didn't say anything wrong, but boy, they did not know what they were talking about. It was so, our role in that, and that kind of came out in the show, that people were glad we're there. They wanted to hear from us. They understood that surveying is part of it, and they want to be partnered with us. And, so it was a really positive response to that. I talked to a number of people as well, just about the states. We're a membership drive. We're trying to encourage people to become members. So we ended up talking to them, some surveyors, some not surveyors, just about the state organizations, the national organization, what we do. I did get a couple of questions on if they could order a survey from us, if we could do the work. And had to clarify that that's not our goal here. We have no services that we're selling per se. But what an experience. I think our presence there just made a world of difference for our organization, our members, and again, just elevating the status of our profession.
Well, good. So you didn't tell them you could get a survey anywhere for $250?
That absolutely did not come up for me. Add a couple zeros and we may have something to talk about.
All right. Well, next up is Mr. Jeff.
Well, hello, everybody. This is Jeff Clendenning from Alabama. I'm the current NSPS vice president. And as Tim said, it definitely was an eye-opener. This was my first GeoWeek, and the technology scared me. It was amazing. They went from underground doing GPR to fully in the air and everything in between, and I was really impressed with it. I don't know what surveying equipment is going to look like in 5 years. When I left there, it's changing, and it's changing fast. I was really impressed with the Get Kids into Surveying. It was pretty amazing. They had a booth, and the membership drive really went off well. Tim mentioned that there was people that came around and interested in surveying. The numbers of people that come around and asked about surveying, why we were there, and how do I get into it, and what's the laws in my state if I want to do it there. I was really impressed and encouraged by that. There was a lot of young people that already are in geospatial and want to come into surveying, and I was proud of that. Getting to know some of the people from NOAA and USGS and different associations, really, I think it built a great bond with us and just strengthened what we're doing with them and the work that we're doing with them too. And lastly, I really believe that the other people that were there, they come over, and the other businesses, and they're looking at doing sponsorships with NSPS because they're seeing how we're reaching people now and how we're making an impression around the United States. And I think that we're really going to pick up a lot of sponsorships, advertising, and I think this is going to take us a long way down the road.
Very good. Well, thank you, Jeff. Next up is Ms. Patty Brooks.
Hi there, Patty Brooks, current treasurer for NSPS from New York State. I was fortunate to be at GeoWeek last year as well, and I feel like, as both Tim mentioned, that like a kid in a candy store, this year seemed to have even more technology than we saw last year. I don't know, Tim, how many vendors are there altogether?
I think there's right around 300 vendors.
So it's a huge facility. I thought that we had a perfect location for our booth. We were on the perimeter. We were right across from NGS. It gave us the opportunity when there were questions on the modernization that perhaps was a little more in-depth than we were feeling comfortable to handle. We could just send them right across the hallway. I thought it was a great opportunity for us to have interactions with people who otherwise we don't see in our daily activities. I think that it was great to be able to talk to different people about the growth of the surveying profession and how it is not a dying profession, but that we are really getting involved with technology, and that we are able to utilize all the tools in the toolbox. I think one of the other great things was the people who came over who recognize that they do need surveying firms and have trouble finding them. So we are now a networking organization for them to tie the surveyors in the states back to the people who really understand now that they do need the surveyors to be able to set the control that's required for them to use those tools.
Well, very good. And I think, Jeff touched on it a little bit, the membership drive. This was the grand unveiling of all of the state characters that we put together on the trading cards. Each trading card has a unique character. Usually it's something either the state of society picked out, or we've looked at the state characteristics, that, whether it's an animal, a bird, or just some famous person within the state. So it was nice to get those cards out. You'll see those being posted around on our social media. You can reach out to us, and those cards will be on our e-store. Another thing I wanted to throw out to all of you, because this was an opportunity also to talk about our programs. And I just know there was a lot of times we were able to talk about CST, about TrigStar. Our CST chair, Norm Ellerbrock, was here to be able to talk about a lot of things. What were some of the interesting conversations you had that you can think of about, what people were looking for? Because we were noticing a lot of GIS technicians were coming over. What were some of their questions about surveying, and really where they're trying to go with it in their careers? Anybody?
I'll take that one. So we did have a lot of great questions from people that are in maybe sister professions, wondering again about surveying and how they can get into surveying. And this may be a little bit of a spoiler for next year, but I think there are some discussions around how can we expand our presence at GeoWeek next year. Perhaps maybe some additional sessions that can help educate and point folks in a direction based on the interactions and conversations we had, such as how do I become licensed? What are the requirements? How do I learn more? Those types of things. And so we're taking all of that input and feedback into consideration as we think about programming for NSPS next year in this event as well.
Well, and I tell you something we probably should also mention. Jeff mentioned the Get Kids into Survey booth, which was next to ours, that drew a lot of people in. We do need a big shout out to Elaine Ball, Sarah Rogerson, Sharon White, their staff back at home, Ellie Ball. It's been amazing what they have done for us for the marketing, and we'd be amiss if we didn't say this was also the official launch of the Geospatial Marketing Academy 2 from Elaine Ball Limited that NSPS is now going to be a proud partner in. That you'll see a lot more information coming out about that. I guess I'm going to ask any of the four of you, how critical, and you've seen the program, you've seen what it's going to entail. How do you give us your impressions on how a surveyor, business person, a business owner would benefit by jumping into this marketing academy?
That's a good one for me. I've worked at a couple of different firms over the years, some small, some medium-sized, some large companies. And the information that Elaine was putting out on the overview she provided us today, it was spot on with the same information the larger companies have been promoting. Working for a smaller company and mid-sized company, they always talk about business development. Go out there, do all this stuff, but they don't tell you how. They don't tell you what to do. There's no real training. This was a lot of the basic know-hows, and a lot of what Elaine was introducing and promoting through her program is what I've since then now learned working for larger companies that have huge marketing departments and have invested a lot of time and money in the proper techniques, what to do, what not to do. So if I were working at any other company that was more of a demand, I'd be signing up immediately because it was just spot on.
Very good. Patty, I wanted to ask you this really kind of the same thing, because as a small family business that has now since merged into something a little bit larger, how did Elaine's message and how does her academy resonate with how you go about business?
Yeah, I think that what was also very helpful was to have two surveyors that are part of the academy actually talk about what an impact it's had on them. One of them was the same type of small family business that my husband and I owned, 12 employees, and you're the chief cook and bottle washer. You don't have a marketing department, and you become a licensed land surveyor, and then the next thing you know, you're hanging a shingle on the door. And as Tim said, there's no roadmap, and she works with you one-on-one to be able to guide you step by step on how to market your business. And I think that that's invaluable. You can't pay a marketing firm to do something any better because she focuses on surveying. She knows everything about surveying, and she focuses primarily on small businesses. So having both of those aspects and looking at the impacts that she's had on the two firms that are members of NSPS, and the positive way that they spoke about it, and just looking at the changes that have been made in the last year in their businesses has been incredible. They really are poster children for GMA.
Very good.
Well, she takes large marketing skills and the same type of things that large companies are doing and brings it home. And that's just something you don't hear otherwise. And coming from a family of surveyors, her father was a surveyor, she knows the business. So Patty was spot on with that as well.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up a long week. I'm going to be trying to be respectful of your time, but this podcast is no different than any of the other ones. I've got to finish with my last question. Jeff, I'm going to start with you. How does the future of surveying look to you?
Well, like I said, with the technology, it looks scary, but I'm really impressed with the young people that I saw at this event coming up and asking questions. How do I get into surveying? And I think this is being here and having the numbers that we had here to represent us. I think it really moved us a long way, and we're going to add surveyors to our profession just by the things that we're doing, and this is one of the greatest.
Well, I'm going to echo something Jeff said, and I'm going to quote a leader from another organization at a conference I was at last year. And they were talking specifically about AI, but I think you could apply the same thing to the survey tools. And he polled the audience and he asked, how many of you out there are scared of all this? And half the people, 3/4 of the people raised their hand. And then he asked, how many of you are excited about all this? And the same people raised their hand. Yeah, it's a little scary, but it's exciting. The future looks bright, very bright for surveying. I think Jeff said before, the scary thing is what tools are we going to be using in 5 years? Who thought 10 years ago we'd be doing what we're doing now? And in the next 5 years and 10 years, it's just going to get better. So I think that echoes with some of the bright young men and women that I spoke with at the conference. The future is bright. It's a great career to get into, and there's really no ceiling on what you can do.
Good. All right, Patty, same question to you.
Well, coming off of our state conference last month, I feel really energized. We had 47 new licensees awarded at our conference, in addition to, I believe, almost 30 college students were there for a good part of the conference. And so I see growth, I see energy, and I see the technology being something that young people are gravitating towards. We used to be considered an antiquated profession, and now we're keeping up with the times, and that's definitely encouraging young people into the profession. And we're seeing it happen already. So it's just going to get better.
Very good. Last but certainly not least, Madam President.
Yes, I would echo the same sentiments that came before me. That the future of serving, I don't think, has ever been brighter. It's an exciting time to be in the business. I constantly get the same questions. Is AI going to take over surveying? Am I going to lose my job? Should I even think about going into surveying? I would say quite the opposite. Even with AI and technology and all of the crazy things we have in our toolbox, we still need people with fundamental knowledge of surveying, and that's where we shine. That's what we bring, and people that are excited to bring that fundamental knowledge and couple it with technology, and that's the key. Encouraging fundamental training and knowledge and coupling it with the incredible technology we have available to us. The future is just incredible. So I couldn't be more excited about the direction things are going.
Very good. Well, yes, absolutely. And I do have to follow up with that. And the fact that we have tremendous leadership here at NSPS, and the fact that you've taken time out of your busy schedules to be with the booth here at GeoWeek, and the enthusiasm and the genuine responses that were given to people that are asking questions about it. And there is a reason why most surveyors are really looked at as very passionate, very true to their profession, and you all embody that. And I can't thank you enough for being the supportive and strong leaders that NSPS needs. So thank you very much. Well, that'll wrap it up for this episode of Surveyor Says. Wherever you listen to the podcast, hit that subscribe button, and see you soon. You've been listening to Surveyor Says, the NSPS podcast, brought to you by the National Society of Professional Surveyors. If you have any questions about today's episode or any other topic, please email us at info@nsps.us.com, as we are here to help. Subscribe to the podcast on most of your favorite streaming platforms, as well as our podcast host, Podbean. For more information about the podcast and NSPS, please visit our website, nsps.us.com. And remember, it's a great day to be a surveyor.